Dog that failed at sniffing for contraband gets a weird new job. Even for pets, life is full of second chances. When one doggy door closes, another one opens. Animals that have long been beloved family pets sometimes find themselves with opportunities they've never had before. And we're not talking a new backyard to play in or a fresh toy to chew. These animals have a job to do. For one rescued pup, his life in the workforce wasn't an easy one. When it came time to call it quits, his owner wasn't sure what his next step would be. But even in the twilight of his life, this sharp-nosed pooch embarked on a truly bizarre new career path that proved you really can teach an old dog new tricks after all. Whether it's their food, a favorite toy, or even themselves, dogs love to sniff things. And while the common wisdom among humans is that you can't always do what you love for a living, the same surely can't be said for man's best friend. All over the world, dogs and their keen senses of smell have become major tools in the field of law enforcement. These detection dogs are trained to recognize and seek out all manner of potentially dangerous contraband, illegal drugs, weapons, and even people. But even with all the necessary skills, not every dog is cut out for a job like this. Being a detection dog takes patience and self-control. In a way, these pooches have to behave more like humans than animals. For Train, a Chesapeake Bay Retriever rescue, trading in a life of abuse for one as a drug detection dog seemed like a perfect fit. But Train struggled to find his place at the training academy. He was far more interested in being a dog than a police canine. He failed out of narcotics school because he was too energetic, said Train's owner, Karen DiMatteo. He was like a bull in a china closet. But Train still had one heck of a nose on him, one that DiMatteo wasn't ready to see go to waste. At the time, DiMatteo, a conservation biologist, was looking to gather a team of dogs for a research project in the Argentine province of Misiones. With a sniffer like Train's on her side, she'd surely find what she was looking for. Scat, also known as poop, it actually plays a major role in the work of conservation biologists. Using droppings, researchers can gather valuable information about an animal, including their species, sex, and living environments. Everybody leaves poop behind in the forest, said DiMatteo. You can figure out which habitats they like and which habitats they avoid. More specifically, DiMatteo and her team were looking to pinpoint the habitats of endangered animals such as jaguars and anchillas. However, this task is not an easy one if you can't track down these creatures in the first place. That's where Train came in. DiMatteo hoped that the former drug dog in training could use his highly sensitive nose to pick up scat scents and lead them to the elusive animals. And as soon as the team released Train onto the trail, they got their answer. Though the dog's excitability had hampered him at the academy, Train proved that he was more than capable of excelling at his new job. Not only was he quick to pick up the scents of the animals, but his high energy helped him collect results at a breakneck speed. The group spent the next year tracking animals through the Argentine wilderness, Train always happily bounding along at the head of the pack. By the time this first collection effort had wrapped, Train and his incredible nose had covered over 600 miles of forest. Train was just a machine, DiMatteo recalled of the dog's first year as sniffing scat. We just switched him to use all that energy and search really big areas and find this poop for us. Using the data collected from the scat, DiMatteo and her team can pinpoint which forest areas should be prioritized in their conservation efforts. They can also determine if any of the animals are being affected by humans encroaching on their land. Everywhere people are expanding, said DiMatteo. We could try to figure out areas of potential overlap between humans and wildlife. We can identify areas that need more work, areas that are great corridors, or areas that are kind of lost to the cause. In the past, conservationists like DiMatteo would employ cameras and sensors to photograph and track animals. However, this method proved inefficient as the creatures needed to actually pass in front of the cameras for researchers to document them. These cameras also proved to be a huge deterrent for the Argentine farmers on whose land some of the animals lived. Many of these landowners were hesitant to allow camera traps on their property, fearing that their privacy and their livelihood were at risk. But with Train and a border collie named April, the farmers were much more receptive to allowing DiMatteo and her team onto their land. After all, who wouldn't want to watch two adorable pups frolic and play? They're afraid you're going to take their land or do something funny, said DiMatteo, and we explain that we just want to look for poop and find out where animals are moving. And they're like, oh, cool. Can I come? Even though Train just celebrated his 12th birthday, he and his one-of-a-kind nose show no signs of slowing down. Next, it's off to Nebraska for DiMatteo and her dog, where their team will be tracking mountain lions. Pups like Train are changing the world with their 9-to-5 careers. Piper, for instance, a border collie from Michigan, chases thousands of birds, foxes, and groundhogs off the runway at Cherry Capital Airport. Clad in noise-canceling headphones and protective goggles, he keeps planes and animals safe. A dream job for any dog.